Hi, I'm Carol Mullen,
And I'm David Darer. We're from Vashon Island, Washington.
and we're parents of a Gonzaga junior. And we are going to talk to you about parents' perspective on academics at Gonzaga. Remember how when you used to volunteer in your elementary school kids' classroom, you'd do practice flashcards with them or help plan their projects or edit their English papers? Well, lucky for you, they're in college now, and it's no longer feasible for you to do that. It's not advisable to do that anymore. So if you didn't move in that direction in high school, like between 9th and 10th grade, it's a good time to retire as tutor and editor and become more like a mentor, where you're really interested in their experience of academics and coursework rather than getting involved too much in the grades and the details of what's going on in their classes. So
It's their problem now.
You want to let them know you're thinking about during finals week. There's lots of fun ways to do that, or hear that they're working on a tough paper, or be excited when they're excited when they finished a particularly challenging project and handed that in.
Yeah, it's time to be more colleague, more take an interest like you would with a friend or a colleague who told you about some project they were working on.
Right. You can listen to them
not direct them.
Right. Listen to them talk about a new idea that they learned about in their physics class or religion class, or hear about what's going on with a professor they like or don't like. We had a good laugh when our student texted us a photo of a weird result he got in his chemistry lab. So those are all fun things you can share about their experience of academics without getting too into the grades. Classes at Gonzaga are taught by faculty, and they're small, so professors can really get to know students by name and in person.
But one of the big differences is that they're going to have a lot less classroom time, a lot more homework, and have a lot more kind of independent responsibility to do the learning and get the help that they need. Went from high school where they had every class met for an hour every day, and now they have classes that meet 2 or 3 times a week, and the professors aren't going to mostly be as closely watching over all the students as their high school teachers may have been.
They have to manage their own work in between the class time.
Yeah.
And no one's doing that for them.
Right.
Right.
And so they have to do a lot more time management.
Right. And you shouldn't do that for them either.
But you can encourage them to think about time management.
Right.
Because it's crucial.
Well, the other thing about the small class size is that students have the opportunity to meet their professors outside of classes and to work with them and interact with them outside of that classroom experience. And
that may be a hurdle, a big hurdle, but really important hurdle for them to overcome, is getting to their professors at times other than in class.
Right. So during parent orientation, and this is good to know, we heard that the first week of classes at Gonzaga, there's a lot of assessments going on. Teachers are trying to figure out where all the students are, level the playing field, because people came from all different high school courses. And so every teacher, every professor is assigning a short essay or a problem set or doing a test, and it's all coming bing, bing, bing the first week without being sort of spaced out.
And on top of them being away at college for the first time and living away from home and having an entirely new social situation, and so they've got, everything is in flux and everything is new, and then they get probably a pretty heavy set of assignments right off the bat.
Right. So the other thing we heard during parent orientation in several different sessions is that Gonzaga faculty are required to have office hours in proportion to the number of hours they teach per week. So every faculty member is available to students for several hours, several times throughout the week, for students to come in. And we also heard that they don't like to be bored during that time, so they really want students to come in and meet with them, work on problems, ask questions, tell them where they're liking things or where they're stuck or talk about ideas, or just to say hello. Just come to office hours, right?
Right. And so if your student is someone who's, maybe a little shy about approaching teachers and other adults, this is a time to encourage them to overcome that.
Right.
Because getting into office hours is really, really valuable, I think probably for every student. Certainly has been for ours.
Right. So the deans also told us that they wanted us, parents and families, to know that students are strongly encouraged to go to office hours. That's a resource for your student. Gonzaga professors want to teach your student, and so going to office hours, that's a gold mine for them. So we think that students were presumably told the same thing during student orientation, but they're also trying to make new friends, feeling anxious, learning about social issues, figuring out how to make their card work at the COG, and any number of other things. And so it's...
And they may be feeling intimidated by this professor who they don't know if they're going to be able to do well in their class.
Well, I'm just even talking during orientation.
Oh, okay.
The message to go to faculty office hours was probably lost in all the millions of other things that they were hearing and learning during that time.
Right.
So it's good that you're hearing that because you can help with that. So during our student's first year, we left him at Gonzaga on Sunday, and on Tuesday night, we get a call from him saying he's overwhelmed. Classes are too hard. He already has like 20 bazillion hours of homework that's due Thursday. And it was a mistake to come here, and he's going to fail out of college
After
for
2 days.
surely.
Yeah.
And so, well, you, like me, what you want to do when you get a call like that, you just dropped your kid off at college, is you want to call the professor, you maybe call the dean, go out there and help them with their work.
Yeah, you want to fix it.
You want to fix it up. But don't. Take a breath.
Yeah.
You've been trained. You know that that's not really going to help. It'll probably make you feel better, but do you really remember all that calculus? Are you free on Tuesdays and Thursdays to do chemistry lab? I don't really have time to read the religious history chapters for next week.
No.
So this is their college experience, like you were saying. This is the struggle that it's supposed to be. This is their life. This is their learning.
So what you can do is you can help them to acquire a really key tool for dealing with this situation.
Go to office hours.
Yeah, tell them to go to office hours.
That's what we told him.
It doesn't matter why.
Right.
They have to get in there. It doesn't matter if they have a well formatted set of questions or if they're on top of the homework. It doesn't matter why. They just need to get in there just to say hello, introduce themselves, and get over the hump, if it is a hump for them, of knocking on their professor's door and saying, "Hi, my name is..."
The Gonzaga professors are the exactly right people to talk about the academic problems, questions, issues, troubles. Those are the people your student needs to talk to. They'll know if the student is actually struggling or is just stuck and needs a little talk about a problem, or if they need peer tutoring or any of the other resources that are available. That's the person who can help them. So go to office hours. It is the gold mine that they need.
Yeah.
So we sat on the phone while our student figured out where on the Gonzaga University website he could find the office hours. He put them into his calendar so he had them on his phone, and then we listened while he sort of figured out where he had no conflict so that he could plan to go to each of his professors' office hours by the end of that first week. And we also reiterated what we had just heard 3 days earlier at orientation, which was the professors are really begging the students to come to office hours period. So he did go, and he didn't fail out, and things got better.
Oh, he had such an enormous feeling of relief that he communicated to us. He no longer felt like everything was going downhill. He no longer felt desperate and worried.
Right.
He suddenly, and it's the piece that's, I think, really different. I mean, high school teachers do sometimes have office hours, but generally students don't go to that, or the teachers may not have it because they see them every day. And so to get the kind of personal attention that maybe they're used to in high school, they need to go to office hours. They need to realize there's this kind of, you can go to class, you can do the homework, but if you don't go to office hours, you're missing a big piece of teaching that Gonzaga offers.
Right.
And is where you can get any help that you need.
And if you've gone to office hours when you didn't have a problem, it's much easier to go when you do have a problem. So go early, go often.
Yep.
And our son is a junior now. He didn't fail out. He's done independent research with one of his professors.
Yeah.
And we haven't had to read any of the history of religion chapters. So 4 little words, go to office hours.
Yeah.
And you can precede them with those 3 little words. We love you, go to office hours. All right. That's what we have to say.
Yep.
Bye.